Just now I finished ovarian tumors. So I told you ovarian tumors. It is a common primary neoplasm in the female. It's the third most common primary. Third most common. First is in the female, most common is endometrial carcinoma, followed by cervical carcinoma. Third one is ovarian cancers. So ovarian cancers, it is occupies about 6% of the women. 6% of the women. It is the cancers are divided into many types. Serous tumors, mucinous tumors, but 75% are benign tumors in the ovary. 75% are benign tumors. 25% are malignant tumors. These 70% of benign tumors occur in the younger women, 20 to 40 years, and 25% of malignant tumor coming in the after 40 years. Some few features I told you, again I want to repeat. These ovarian tumors and ovarian cancers are, the whole life it is asymptomatic and silent. Till the advanced stages. This is the one thing. And some of the tumors, small tumors, hanging from the ovary, it causes torsion or twist, it causes intra-abdominal pain and bleeding. Large tumors producing massive ascites, accumulation. Most common is a Meek syndrome. Malignant ascites, Meek syndrome, along with the fibroma, thecoma, and malignant serous tumors. Coming to the cyst lesions, the cysts are classified into 4 cysts. Cysts are classified into 4 cysts. One is a follicular cyst, second one is a corpus luteal cyst, third one is a polycystic ovarian disease, fourth one is a chocolate cyst. Follicular cyst, it is a most common cyst lined by the granulars or cells. It is a physiological component. It may cause symptoms or not symptoms. Small in size, multiple. And coming to the second cyst is corpus luteum, which is yellowish in color at the end of every menstrual cycle or at the pregnancy, corpus luteum cyst. Third one is a polycystic ovarian disease. Poly means multiple, multiple cysts in the ovary. That's due to the elevation of hormones I told you. Luteinizing hormone, prolactin hormone, androgens. That leads to the amenorrhea, infertility, yes, virilism, and obesity. These are the last one is called chocolate cyst or endometriosis. This endometriosis is otherwise called chocolate cyst. The presence of endometrial glands and stroma outside the uterus, most commonly ovary, tubes, rectovaginal septum, pouch of Lawrence. The 4 non-neoplastic cysts are: one is follicular cyst, corpus luteal cyst, polycystic ovarian disease, fourth one is a chocolate cyst. Coming to the tumors are classified into the surface epithelial tumors, germ cell tumor, sex cord stromal tumor, and metastasis. Coming to the metastasis, so the primary tumor in the GIT or stomach or intestine, starting from the primary cancer, going to settle in the both sides of the ovary as a multiple nodules. These multiple nodules in the ovary is called Purkinje's tumor. It's called Purkinje's tumor. Primary tumor in the GIT, secondary tumor in the ovary, and shows a signet ring cells, signet ring type of cells, Purkinje. And other metastatic tumor coming to the ovary is from the lung and also the breast. Coming to the young girls, one type of cyst is coming. Young girl, one type of cyst is coming. I told you what type of cyst I can see. Young girl, I told you in the history also, when I was working with the yes, dermoid cyst. Don't forget, dermoid means skin. That's all. Derma means skin. Squamous. Yes, squamous, lining epithelium. When I was working in the Midinab, a 16 years girl coming with the abdomen pain and palpable abdomen, excision of the cyst sent to the pathology department, we show the large cyst lined by the squamous epithelium. Yes, cut section shows cheesy material, cheese-like material, bunches of hairs, teeth, bone, respiratory epithelium, squamous epithelium, cartilage, epithelium. Because this dermoid cyst, most commonly in the young girls, cause infertility. It is arising from the three layers, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, or arising from the totipotential cells. This teratoma is divided into mature teratoma, immature teratoma and monodermal. Mature teratoma means composed of only mature element, respiratory epithelium, hair follicles, teeth. Some another type of teratoma is immature teratoma. But immature elements are there going for malignancy. Some amount of this dermoid cyst going for malignancy, 1% of the dermoid cyst going for malignancy is a squamous cell carcinoma. Sometimes this dermoid cyst contain only thyroid tissue, It is called struma ovum. So I told you we will talk only 10 slides only. So the tumors are classified into serous tumors and mucinous tumors. Serous tumors are more common. 90% is malignant. Bilateral. Serous tumor, 90% malignant, bilateral. Mucinous tumor, less common, but unilateral, big in size. In the lab, we are going to talk about the surface epithelial tumors, teratomas, granulosa tumors, and morphology of the tuberculous salpingitis. Coming to the serous tumors. It is arising from the surface epithelial cells. These serous tumors are classified into three types. One is cyst adenoma. Cyst adenoma is a benign tumor or malignant tumor or borderline tumor? Benign, definitely benign. Because adenoma is the cyst. Cyst means cystic lesion. Adenoma is arising from the glandular structure. Simple, serous component is there. Simple type. Not a simple. Serous means clear fluid. Cyst means cystic lesion. Adenoma is a benign. So the simple serous cyst adenoma, it is one of the example. Thin-walled cyst. You see the thin-walled cyst. It is a multiloculated. Sometimes uniloculated. Uni means one. Multiloculated. Usually containing watery fluid. Watery fluid. Lined by the epithelial cells. See, lined by the epithelial cells. In some areas resembling the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is lined by the columnar ciliated epithelium. Sometimes it's flattened. Sometimes it's a columnar ciliated. So serous tumor, it is classified into three types. One is a simple serous containing clear fluid and cyst and adenoma. Second type is called papillary serous cyst adenoma. Third type is a papillary serous cyst adenoma. Serous tumors are three types. One is called simple serous cyst adenoma. Second one is called papillary serous cyst adenoma. Third one is cyst adenocarcinoma. This papillary serous cyst adenoma is a borderline tumor. What is a borderline tumor? It is not a malignant, it is not a benign. It is not a benign, it is not a benign, it is not a malignant. Sometimes it will go malignant, sometimes it will stop. What are the features of the borderline tumors? The lining epithelium shows moderate amount of nuclear pleomorphism. Lining of epithelium is stratification, more number of layers. See, these layers are more number of layers. Yes. Moderate nuclear pleomorphism, more number of layers, but no invasion into the capsule. No invasion into the capsule, in the surrounding capsule. No invasion into the stroma. So the benign tumors, before that it's a benign tumor, only containing clear fluid and thin-walled cystoma. But in the borderline, it containing the moderate amount of nuclear pleomorphism, but no stromal invasion, no capsular invasion. Only there is a solid papillary projection. This is a delicate papillary growth. But it is not infiltrate the capsule, it infiltrate the stroma. The difference between the benign and malignant Borderline is here, no invasion into the capsule, no invasion into the stoma. Coming to the last one, papillary cystadenoma, papillary serous cystadenoma, borderline, serous cystadenoma, carcinoma. Carcinoma, I told you, all is a papillary, solid component. Solid component. Yes, areas of gamma rays, necrosis, solid component. Numerous papillary projections, relatively solid area and capsular invasion and stromal invasion. Here no stromal invasion, no capsular invasion. Here it is a capsular invasion, stromal invasion and solid component and focal hemorrhages. So solid component, areas of hemorrhage, areas of necrosis, stromal invasion and capsular invasion. Invasion into the capsule. Coming to this, papillary growth. Papillary means this is the papillary growth lined by the columnar cells, and one thing is called the psammoma bodies. The calcification occurs. Calcified sprue is called psammoma bodies. So what are the features of the papillary serous cystadenoma? One thing is a solid papillary, then papillary, solid papillary projection, areas of hemorrhage and necrosis, and presence of psammoma bodies. These are the features of the papillary serous cystadenocarcinoma. Okay, serous tumors finished. 3 types. One is adenoma, lined by the flattened epithelium. Second one is a borderline, no invasion with the capsule, only the stratification. Here it's solid tumor and anaplastic tumor cells, more amount of anaplastic tumor cells. Coming to the mucinous, I told you the serous tumors are more common, but mucinous tumors are less common. Understand? For ovarian tumor, serous tumors are more common, but mucinous tumors are less common. Yes, the serous tumors are 75%, but mucinous tumors are 25%. Serous tumors are bilateral, but mucinous tumors are unilateral, one side. These serous tumors are moderate in size, but mucinous tumors are large in size. That's all. You understand now? What is the difference between the serous and mucinous? Serous tumor bilateral, more common, moderate in size, but mucinous tumor less common, large size. Yes, unilateral. See, it is a multiple cystic lesions. The whole ovary is transformed into multiple cystic lesion. Contains a jelly-like material. See, jelly-like material. Contains jelly-like whole thing. It's lined by the epithelial, tall columnar cells with apical epithelium. Endocervical epithelium, mucin secreting columnar epithelium. Here mucins are secreting. It's a columnar type of epithelium. Here the large multilocular. This is one system. This is one system. This is one system. Large multilocular test with the sticky gelatinous fluid. Sticky, thick gelatinous fluid. No solid areas here. No psammoma bodies are there. No solid areas. No psammoma bodies. No hemorrhage. No necrosis. Here the mucinous tumor, large multiloculated cyst with a sticky gelatinous fluid. No papillary areas. No psammoma bodies. So it's a large in size. It is a difference between the serous and mucinous. Serous tumors are more common. 70% of the female composing of this one, 90% are malignancy, moderate in size. Mucinous tumors is a large in size, less common. Large in size, less common. Composed of sticky gelatinous fluid, gelatin, thick jelly-like fluid. But here the feature, most thing, here see, this is a solid areas are there, solid area. Here there is no solid areas. Here there is invasion into the capsule. Here there is a psammoma bodies. Here no psammoma bodies. Coming to the third one. Third tumor is benign cystic teratoma. In the morning also we told this benign cystic teratoma is coming in the young girls before 18 years. Any young girls coming with ovarian tumor, think of benign cystic teratoma. Other name is a dermoid cyst. Derma means skin. It is lined by the squamous epithelium. It is lined by squamous epithelium. It's a bilateral, 10 to 15%. Both ovaries are affected. If both ovaries are affected, we have to remove the both ovary. What will be happening?
No.
Yeah, infertility. No, so the marriage is a problem. Marriage is a problem. So, marriage is infertility is the one of the complications. If it is coming in the bilateral, but it's unilateral. If it is excised, another ovary is ready for the marriage after the follicle. You understand? So the unilocular cyst containing hair and cheesy material, cheese-like material, unilocular cyst, one side cyst containing hairs and cheesy-like material, cheesy-like material. Thin-walled cyst, not a thick wall, thin-walled cyst, lined by opaque. What is meant by opaque? We cannot see other sides. Opaque means we cannot see other side. Opaque. Yes, yes. Thin-walled cyst lined by opaque, grey-white in color. See, grey-white in color. You cannot see in the inside. Wrinkled, apparent epidermis. Because dermoid cyst is lined by epidermis lining. Wrinkled, thin-walled cyst. Hair shafts are present. Hair present. Tooth structures and areas of calcification. Hair is present, cheesy materials are present, tooth structures are present, and calcification is present. Arising from the totipotential cell, arising from the ectodome, endodome, mesodome. See, coming to this is a gross picture of the ovarian cyst, cut and open. This is a flap, inside cheesy material, hair, and lined by the static. Coming to the histopathology, after cutting the section, see in the microscope, it is lined by the stratified spermaceti. The same cyst coming to the microscope, it is lined by the stratified spermaceti area. Underlying sebaceous glands. Underlying sebaceous gland. Third one is the hair follicles. Hair follicles and other adnexal structures. So the whole thing belongs to the skin. So the cyst is lined by stratified squamous epithelium, adnexal structures, sebaceous gland, hair follicles, and all the things it is coming in the skin. So the skin is lined, the cyst is called dermoid cyst. This dermoid cyst I forget, I want to take it. This dermoid cyst is divided into three types. One is a mature termite, immature termite, another one is a struma ovary. Struma ovary means it is a monodermal and specialized. It composed of only thyroid tissue, sometimes carcinoid. Coming to the granulosa cell tumors. I told you what is the speciality of this tumor. Yes, it is a yellowish tumor. The tumor is yellowish in color. The tumor is yellowish in color because of large amount of estrogen will secrete. It is unilateral tumor. Unilateral. I told you sometime benign, sometime also malignant also it is there. Solid tumor, cystic tumor and encapsulated tumors. Solid and cystic. Cystic means containing fluid. Encapsulated. Yellowish coloration on cut surface. Yellowish. Elaboration of large amounts of estrogen. In young girls, precocious sexual development. What is a precocious sexual development? One girl is 16 years, girl is coming to you. One 16 years, you are a doctor sitting in the hospital. One 16 years people are coming. Young girls, precocious sexual development. What do you mean?
More than
yes. So it became big size. It's a big size. All big size. Yes. Because of estrogen only. Before 10 years, all silent, everything silent. After become menarche, this estrogen produces, giving the shape of the breast, giving the shape of the face, giving the nice looking. Yes, nice skin, coloring, all is due to the estrogen. If the estrogen is limited, it is acceptable and beauty. Limited, acceptable, beauty. If it is over, big, cannot accept that. Yes, more. Endometrial hyperplasia. Infertility will be coming.
some accept the
Yes, some. So, this, because these tumors producing large amount of estrogen. Large, not a limited amount, not a adequate amount. You understand? Not a adequate, large amount. the large amount it will cause increased precocious development, sexual development, more. And in adult woman, what will be happen? Endometrial hyperplasia and endometrial cancer. In the young girl, it is a precocious development, big size. You think of this granulosal cell. This granulosal cell tumor, soft tumor, yellowish in tumor, variable in size. See, variegated appearance. Some jelly-like material, hemorrhage, everything is there.
Usually benign.
Yes. Sometimes benign, but also malignant also. Malignant also. Because, what is the malignant? Because it will lead to the endometrial hyperplasia. For example, this granulosal tumor coming in the 40 years woman, more amount of estrogen, it leads to endometrial hyperplasia and carcinoma. But the same tumor coming in the young girls, it will not go for carcinoma. Because young girl only the development only, sexual, big organ only. But in the adult woman, it leads to endometrial hyperplasia. Here it is a benign, here it is a malignant. You understand? Same tumor, in the young girl it is a benign. But in the adult woman, it will become malignant. Why? It causes endometrial hyperplasia and carcinoma. Soft tumor, yellowish in color, because of high amount of estrogen and branching anastomosing, closely packed follicles. See, this look like a flower. This picture will not forget. See, this is closely packed. See, branching. It is one branching. It is one branching. It is one branching. You will never forget this picture. If you see one time branching and anastomosing, closely packed polyhedral cells. Closely packed polyhedral, like flowers. This is one round, another round, another round. Closely packed polyhedral cells with a grooved nuclei. Groove. Nuclear groove. Yes, nuclear groove means you can this is a nuclear groove. Joining here. Nuclear groove, say it's a center. Nuclear groove. Yes, nuclear groove. Yes, grooved nuclei. Grooved means, you understand? This is a nuclei, grooved. See, this is a groove. So these tumor cells are branching and anastomosing, cleft. You can see the cleft here. Cleft. Branching anastomotic, closely packed. This is a one follicle. This is another follicle. You understand? Closely packed follicle and polyhedral cells with grooved nuclei and abortive follicles. This is abortive follicles. This name is called the Colli-Exner bodies. This question is coming in the MCQ. Colli-Exner bodies. What is it? Belongs to the Colli-Exner bodies. This Colli-Exner bodies belongs to the granulosal cells. Because of branching and anastomotic closely packed polyhedral cells. Coming last slides. It is tuberculous salpingitis. Tuberculous salpingitis. This is the uterus. This is the tube. This is the fallopian tube. Is affected by tuberculosis. Infection? Yes. Tuberculosis. What is the tuberculosis?
Tuberculosis, TB?
Yes, TB. It is caused by what type of organism?
It's
Caused by what type of organism? Yes, Mycobacterium tuberculosis.
TB.
Yes, caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It is coming only in the poor countries only. This tuberculosis coming in the poor countries, not the rich countries and developed countries. India, Sudan, Somalia, Pakistan, slow, like this. Because poverty is there. Because this bacilli is present, long, thick rod-like bacilli in the sand, in the water, and this thing. It is going to first loss of appetite, fever, evening rise of temperature. This bacilli going to tuberculous bacilli is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, going to enter in the lung. It produces cough, fever, evening rise of temperature, loss of weight, loss of appetite, and sputum will come. This tuberculous bacilli not only affect the lungs, in the female it affects the fallopian tubes. Sometimes affect the ovary also. So in the males it is affecting the lung and intestine, but in the female it affects the tubes, fallopian tubes, and also the ovary. So the tuberculous salpingitis less common than the endometrium. What is a less common than the endometrium? So this tubercle bacilli can affect the endometrium also. So you affect the uterus also. So the tuberculous organism is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis in the female affect the first endometrium, then followed by the tubes, fallopian tubes. So the tubercular bacilli caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis affecting the endometrium and also the fallopian tube is called salpingitis. See the large inflammatory masses, large inflammatory hemorrhagic mass, large masses, because the patient is having an inflammation in the fallopian tube, inflammation in the lung. What are the symptoms I told you? Yes, because the Mycobacterium tuberculosis is going to settle in the fallopian tube, it causes fever, pelvic pain, then mass, tubes become distended and with the exudate, pus, adherence to the ovary and ligaments, tubo-ovarian abscess. Organisms coming only in the tubes, but it affects the ovary also. You understand? So Mycobacterium tuberculosis is going to enter in the mouth, it going to the lung and going to the intestine and also going to the tubes and also the ovary. So the tubes and the ovary is affected. It is called tubo-ovarian abscess. It is called tuber, fallopian tube and ovarian abscess. There is a large inflammatory mass. Clinically, the patient is complaints of female, fever, pelvic pain, pelvic pain, mass. Three features. There is a fever, pelvic pain and mass. Increasing risk of tubal ectopic pain. What are the complications? If there is a inflammation in the tube, what will be the complications? There is a tube will be obstructed. Semen will be coming. Sperm will be ectopic pregnancy. Because the tube, there is a sperm will go. Here there is a tubal inflammation. The sperm will stop. It produce. Here the baby will form in the tube itself. The baby will not reach the uterus. Baby will form in the tube itself. See, the baby is sitting now. See, this is the baby. Fetus is coming to the fetus. This is the tube. This is the same tube, and the cut section shows the fetus is there, and hemorrhagic area is there. Because the sperm will not reach to the uterus because of obstruction and inflammation. Because the ovum is coming, sperm is coming, join in the tube, it produces ectopic pregnancy. It is called ectopic, means tubal pregnancy. The pregnancy is not occur in the uterus, but it is occur in the tubes. Other than that, it is called ectopic pregnancy. Fetus with the amniotic fluid and hemorrhage consisting of the placental tissue. It's sometimes that's a medical emergency, sometimes severe pain, severe bleeding, sometimes burst of fallopian tube. Burst means rupture of fallopian tube.
And the pregnancy here will fail or
Yeah?
pregnancy here will
Abortion.
fail or abortion.
No, because in the tube size is very small.
Yes.
The tube size is very small.
Almost 2 century.
Yes, tube size is very small. First, it will cause fever, pelvic pain and mass. If you are not reach it, one time it will burst and rupture. Because in the uterus Allah made the uterus only a place for the babies or fetus. But in the tubes are very thin. In the thin tubes, the baby is formed means it will cause, if the thin tube, there is a baby is formed means what will be? Rupture. Then bleeding will be there. It is acute abdomen. Shock will be coming. In here rupture, the bleeding will come inside the abdomen. So the patient is emergency, immediately open and take out and cut the fallopian tube and take the baby and save the patient. You understand? Inside the abdomen, it causes bleeding and rupture of the fallopian tube. See, this is one of the case showing the fetus inside the fallopian tube. You can understand? This is a fetus. Another surrounding areas with the placental tissues and amniotic tubes. So one of the complications of the tuberculous salpingitis is the ectopic tubal pregnancy. And that is ectopic tubal pregnancy. That's all. Let's finish.
What's the important question?
Huh?
What's the important question?
No, I will not immediately.
Okay.